Hey guys, this is David with Savvy Organics Farm and Modern Homestead. Preserving the harvest. My goodness, so much to do. Berries and nuts and so many different ways to preserve things. Freeze-dried fruit, freeze-dried vegetables, dried herbs. It's incredible. All the things that you harvest from your homestead, you want to be able to store that for later use. So it's very important to be able to store your food. We've got all kinds of containers and things we've bought from other sources like Azure Standard. We have 3 or 4 bins full of freeze-dried foods ready for um, uncertain times. We've got all kinds of tools for preserving the harvest, including canners and cookers and processors, food processors. We've got the jars, of course, and today my wife was canning chicken and beef for future use. These are chickens that we grew ourselves or raised ourselves. This is the pressure canner that we use. I think she's wanting to get a different one, not real pleased with the Denali pressure canner. Sometimes that lid can be difficult to use, and just need a better canner than that one. In this video, I'm going to be canning sweet potatoes and ginger. We've got some ginger that we grew and some sweet potatoes, and we're going to be freeze drying the sweet potatoes and the ginger for later use. There's a lot going on. When you get ready to process the food, you need to be able to prep it for whatever method of storage you're going to use. So I'm busy peeling the sweet potatoes and getting those guys ready for the freeze dryer. And my wife is busy preparing to can the chicken and some beef. I think that canner holds 16 pints, and so she's preparing all of that. And I'm peeling potatoes, which takes a really long time to get them all the way you want them. So peeling potatoes, peeling ginger, preparing it, chopping it up. So she's getting her jars for canning the meat, the chicken and the beef out of the oven. She's heated all of her jars. And she likes to heat those jars, number one, to make sure they're dry and sterile, and so that they're already preheated a bit for getting them ready to go into the canner. So the method I'm using to do the sweet potatoes is I'm going to blanch them. So a lot of the vegetables need to be blanched, just like when you buy frozen vegetables from the store, they are blanched. So I'm going to blanch those and get those ready to freeze dry. So she's busily working away, getting her chicken cut up into the pieces that she wants, putting those pieces of homegrown American breast chicken into the jars. She knows the right headspace. I think it's 1.25 inches on meats like the chicken and the beef. So she's slicing all of those up and getting those ready for the canner. In the meantime, I'm still washing vegetables and getting those things ready to go. So she's got all of her canning lids. She's got everything that she's going to be using to can the chicken and some ground beef as well. So useful to be able to store these things for long periods of time. So very helpful. She's busy packing. Now she's making sure she's got no air bubbles in her jars that she's filling with the chicken. And I am busily slicing up the sweet potatoes, getting those guys ready for the freeze dryer. Trying to make them into even sized chunks so they freeze dry evenly. So we can preserve these for long-term storage. So I love sweet potatoes. They are so nutrient dense. There's so many vitamins and minerals and good things in sweet potatoes. My wife's not a great fan of sweet potatoes, but she does like them a little bit and will eat them in a pinch. But we had all these sweet potatoes, and I've been wanting to try to freeze dry these for some time. And so I'm trying to get these cut up into even chunks. We're having good conversations and enjoying our day. And you can see in the background on the shelf over my wife's shoulder, we're also fermenting seeds for our chicken. We're sprouting those, so those will be good chicken feed. So now I'm preparing the ginger, preparing it. I did not remove the skins. There's a lot of vitamins, minerals, and things in the skin. We'll use ginger for different recipes and for tea. We love ginger tea. And again, as my wife is busy finishing up, cutting up the chicken and getting it in all of the jars ready to can. So she's very careful, cuts those into even pieces and stirs them so that she gets all the air bubbles possible out. And I'm just continuing to process and chop the ginger finely, or thinly, not finely, but I'm not chopping it up. I'm slicing it into small thins so that it will freeze dry well. So just takes some effort, but we want to preserve our harvest. This is some ginger we grew. There's always cleanup. Everything has to be washed and repeatedly sterilized and cleaned. Things are moving around in a busy kitchen on a day we dedicated to preserving a harvest. So it's important for us to be able to um, preserve the harvest. You know, we can't eat everything that comes out of our garden and out of our production of our chickens and beef and everything else. So it's important to be able to freeze dry these things, to preserve them in different ways. So many different ways to preserve foods. Today we're mostly canning and freeze drying, but we do a lot of pickling, a lot of fermenting. You might be able to see on the kitchen counter there's a fermentation crock. I've got some sauerkraut going in that. So she's pre-cooking the beef. The beef needs to be slightly pre-cooked before she cans it. So she's getting that beef prepared for going into the jars and ready to can. There's a lot of science and things behind how this works and how things are prepared for freeze drying or canning. So my potatoes are almost done, and so she's helping me out here to get the sweet potatoes out and ready to cool them down just a little bit. So I'm also draining off the water from what was I doing? I was blanching all of those sweet potatoes and making them ready to go. So now they need to cool down a little bit and let some of the water drain out. So we've moved them to a different container for that. So now my busy wife, she is putting the hamburger meat she prepared into the canning jars, and these make great fast meals. We love this stuff will already be cooked and ready to go just to prepare it. And so she's adding a little bit of salt in each container, not required in this case, but neither is the water. She has learned that she puts a tiny bit, like a quarter-inch of water in the meats that she cans. The results are much better, and it reduces the siphoning out of the jars and just gives us a better long-term storage product when they're properly prepared. So she'll get all the air bubbles out and get all of these ready to go into the canner. So it'd be great to hear from you guys. What are you preserving? What are you growing on your homestead? Animals or vegetables that you want to store? And what methods are you going to store? So hopefully you'll leave some of those in the comments below. So when she cans, she's always careful to wipe all the lids. She puts a little bit of vinegar, just white vinegar, and wipes all the lids off. She had a couple of extra spaces, so she's actually, it sounds crazy, but she's canning water. So to make sure in the canner, the chicken and the beef that she has in there, so that they don't fall over, she wants to make sure everything stays upright, so she actually cans water with that, which can be preserved. It's not a bad thing to have a few cans of purified water on hand for cooking or any other use you may need. So we've mentioned this Denali canner. We've had some difficulty from time to time getting the lid on. There's a release on one of the handles that has to be in the right place, and it can be difficult to get it just right. So she's kind of tired of fighting with this canner and trying to fit this lid on properly. And now I'm preparing those the ginger and the sweet potatoes to go into the freeze dryer, so we can keep those for winter use. So spreading them all out, getting fairly even layers and a fairly equal amount on each one of the trays. This is a large freeze dryer, so we're putting these 5 trays. So the large freeze dryer holds 5 trays, and I'm just trying to evenly space all of this. I have the freeze dryer on. It is already cooling down the chamber so that it can be cooled and ready to actually freeze dry. So we'll get those loaded in the freeze dryer, and no particular order. I just chose to put the ginger on the bottom, and then my trays of sweet potatoes in, getting those in there and ready to freeze. So the freeze dryer will freeze everything solid first. I think it goes down to like a -40 before it actually starts the freeze drying process. You can pre-freeze these things, that would save some energy. But today, with all that we were preserving, I didn't have time to pre-freeze them. So we're just going to get those in and ready to go. Looks like she's cooled down the canner. It has stopped. She's reached the pressure that she needed and the time she needed for both beef and chicken. So she's canned her beef and chicken, and those will preserve very well, and it's all natural or all organic. These animals were fed all organic feed, and so there's nothing in there that shouldn't be, no harsh chemicals. So she's getting all of that out and using her little tool that picks up the cans to get all of those out. So you can see my crock there fermenting some sauerkraut, which we absolutely love. It's great on so many different things and such a good probiotic. And it stores virtually, man, I tell you, we've had jars for several years. And we do a big batch and they just last a really long time. This is a small batch, so it won't last as long. There are the finished products. You can see they are still bubbling after coming out of the canner, but they are perfectly cooked, ready to use. So now the next step is just to let these guys cool down. And once they're cooled down, we'll add them to our storage. The freeze dryer is finished. Looks like we're done with the ginger and the sweet potatoes, but we freeze dry all kinds of things, all kinds of fruits and vegetables. Sometimes we'll buy them in bulk at Costco, or we'll get bulk apples or bulk pears, or all kinds of things from Azure Standard, which we absolutely love. Very well grown, all organic. So we're careful about making sure there's no other chemicals, nothing in there that we don't want. So Azure Standard is a great place to get things in bulk if you want to do some canning, some freeze drying, pickling, dehydrating, any other way that you want to store food for a long time. So these are just going into jars because we'll use those over the winter. There's no use to put them in Mylar bags. So we're getting all of that stored away. So I began to bring those cans in, and I'm using our little, it removes all of the air. I bought this on Amazon, and once we get the freeze-dried food into our jars, I simply am using this device that sucks all of the air, all of the oxygen out of those for long-term storage. So those will keep for a really long time, at least a year. So now it's time to store all the things that we have processed for today. So I'm trying to find all the right places. She's particular about where things go, so we always know things are in the right order, they're in the right place on our shelves. This is an extra bedroom in our house, and so we just bring these things in that we have canned and freeze-dried and prepared for long-term storage. You can see all the different things on the shelves, all kinds of fruit. We have beans. We have all the things she uses to make sourdough bread, and beans and rice and different grains down on the lower shelves. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you will preserve your harvest. Preserve your harvest for the homestead. Hope you'll like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.